How to get a job. That's the big question on everybody's mind right now, right? The economy is in the dumpster. What's a guy or gal gotta do to land a job? Well, first of all, you cannot go into what I call the pit of despair.
The pit of despair. Don't even think.
Instead, chase your passions. And that means dusting off your resume and pressing your suit and hitting the pavement running, period. So what's the job process entail? I have 5 steps. The first is the R&R. Not what you think it is. It's actually researching resumes. 2, tailoring your cover letter. 3, interview, of course, duh. 4, following up and saying thank you. And 5 is the money tree and pointers. Let's start from the top. Now I say authentic passion is energy that starts with fascination. So obviously you have to be fascinated about the prospective line of work that you're about to do. And that means reading the trades, knowing what the key industry players are, what the roles are within the industry that you're in. Once you have your head filled up like a bobblehead with key industry data, that's when you can go ahead and start with your calling card, otherwise known as a resume. There are a billion ways to tailor your resume. But first things first, you need to search the web and find out what are the industry standards for your particular line of work. Like, for instance, in my field of media production, I know that my employers are only really looking for the project titles that I've worked on, the shows I worked on, and what capacity I've worked on them. So my resume is more like a functional resume, which I'll get to in just a second. That's gonna work for me, but it's not gonna work for maybe a lawyer seeking a law firm position. So what are the 3 widely used resumes? Here they are. The most widely used resume is the chronological resume. It starts from your most recent job that you just had and counts down to the very first job that you had when you first started out working. Now, that's great if you have a strong work history and you can fill up a page. Another type of resume is called the functional resume. And this is based off your skills and experience rather than your chronological work history. And this is good for a person that maybe has gaps in employment or just wants to change their careers. The third most used resume is called the targeted resume. This is a resume that you customize specifically for the job at hand. And it's where you highlight the job responsibilities and experiences so that you are a perfect match for that job. It definitely takes a lot more work, but in the end, it will be well rewarded. Now, I could go on and on. You know I can. But just do the research. Find out what people are turning in and go with your gut. However, there are several do's and don'ts in the resume world, and here's what they are. Here are the do's. Do check for typos. This is the most overlooked blunder. Poor grammar or spelling shows a lack of care and attention. It sends a message of a slob and stupidity. If you are weak in this department, do show off your resume to your friends and peers for review. Do keep your resume under 1 page. Unless you are going for a CEO position, remember, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Do use power action verbs rather than inactive verbs. For example, managed versus handled, directed versus encouraged, advised versus counseled. Even though you might not be a type A personality, you want to be outwardly confident. Do be unique and tailor your resume. I know, this takes a lot of effort. Don't you want that job? This will make you stand out from all the rest who take this for granted. Here are the don'ts. Don't try to be too original. Now, I've seen something like this, it's horrifying, but don't use a perfumed resume on a flower-printed background. Please, you won't get the job. Don't try to embellish your titles or responsibilities. It's like an FBI file. Remember, if your resume is followed up on, it should reflect something that has actually happened in the past. And don't try to fit too much on 1 page. Try to take out the figurative ums and ahs and use a standard font so that it can be easily read. And remember, your resume is just a calling card. That's all it is. So present it with a kiss. Mwah. Some may call me old-fashioned, but I'm an old granny, and I still believe in a tailored cover letter. I know this takes a long time, but what you need to do is to be very concise. Choose your words carefully.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tit.
Why are you particularly good for this role? Why would you be better than this clown over there? Do you have relatable job skills? Do you have experience in this? Maybe you have a best friend named Scott that works there. Now, leverage all you want, but nepotism will only get you so far.
Help me! My daughter's not talented!
It's the passion that you convey that will really land you the job and keep you in mind when they're trying to select their candidate. You don't want to be too familiar or too casual in your cover letter. You have to remember, employers are not your best friend. Remember that. Employers are not your best friend. So you've knocked their socks off with the resume and cover letter, and they ask you to come on in. Well, come on in then. But this is the time to dress nicely. Think of Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. I know it's not 1982, nobody's wearing the corporate suit anymore, but people are wearing their sneakers to the opera. Don't do that. The first thing you should do when you go into an interview is directly look them in the eye and say hello. You have to project outward confidence at all times, even if you are having a bad day. Okay, look, you have to use your intuition when you get into your interview. For instance, is the hiring manager greeting you with great zest and personality? Then you should match their energy level. At the interview, it's important that you showcase all the information that you know about the job.
So what do you know about our organization?
I do know that you guys were the leader in widget production. You're one of the first companies to go international with the widgets, and you've set the widget earnings curve for the last decade.
The last 2 decades, actually.
Oh, I stand corrected.
And this is not just a one-way street. You should be interviewing them. How good are they for you?
Do you have any questions for me?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
What is the company's current strategy on dealing with the widget crisis that we're having right now?
Well, we have a multi-tiered response to the current widget crisis, and hopefully I will be able to tell you all about it soon.
The biggest blunder you can make in the interview is asking for money prematurely. The employer should say, hey, what is a good salary range, or what are you accustomed to getting?
And so, what are we talking here? What kind of salary would you like?
Don't walk in asking for the moon and sun to shine. Your stars won't align. Overbidding yourself can be just as detrimental as to underselling yourself.
Well, since you're asking, I'm in the $65,000 range. Would that be something that's in the range of your budget?
Now, most importantly, before departing the interview, make sure that you pick up one of their business cards.
No, it's pronounced analrapist.
Tell them that you will follow up next week and mean it.
Could I get a business card so that I could follow up?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.